I have no idea what Hassan Reddick is doing. Now, do I think he deserves more money? Absolutely. And do I think the Jets did the right thing by trading for him without giving him a new contract? No. But why is he holding out and not holding in? He's got to be close to $6 million now.
You're tuned in to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, guiding your gridiron journey, none other than your host, former NFL lineman, Ross Tucker.
Oh, yeah, it is. But it's not just any Ross Tucker Football Podcast. It is a Power Rankings Tuesday, presented, of course, as always, by DraftKings. I'm Ross Tucker, former NFL offensive lineman, 5 teams, 7 years. A lot of broadcast gigs Thursday night in the radio booth for Dolphins and Bills, Westwood One, Saturday night, prime time. Deion Sanders in prime time, Colorado at Colorado State for CBS. Great seeing so many of you last night at Pizza Boy Brewing. That was an awesome, awesome turnout. Very, very cool. Love all of you. Love those of you that spread the word via social media in any way, at Ross Tucker NFL, at Ross Tucker Pod. Very easy contest to win every week. And as well as those of you who take advantage of any of our glorious sponsors, especially West Shore Home and future fans. And then the YouTube shout out, always very cool as well. Love getting those YouTube comments and love sending you guys videos after you make them. YouTube.com/Ross Tucker NFL. A lot to get to on a Power Rankings Tuesday and talking about last night's game. It's Big Show time.
The Big Show.
All right, Ross. So last night's game, Aaron Rodgers, he is finally back, but the 49ers, they were just too much across the board. 32-19 San Francisco win.
And Jack, before I even get into the game itself, I want to talk about Hassan Reddick quickly since he missed the game last night. And usually I do this Wednesday or Thursday. I'm going to make this my Labatt take of the week, presented by Labatt Blue Light, the pristine Canadian Pilsner. Enjoy your beers together so you can live life to the power of we. Always enjoy responsibly. Beer, Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. I have no idea what Hassan Reddick is doing. Now, do I think he deserves more money? Absolutely. And do I think the Jets did the right thing by trading for him without giving him a new contract? No. But why is he holding out and not holding in? He's got to be close to $6 million now, with missing all the training camp, $50,000 per day, the 3 preseason games where they can find him, and then he missed over $800,000 last night. He could have been holding in this whole time. Show up the first day of training camp, and then, have a hamstring or a back, or just stand there like Chase and Ayuk and some of these guys did. He's cost himself close to $6 million, if not over $6 million at this point. And what does he have to show for it? Maybe he'll get a revised deal, but even with the revised deal, whatever he gets is not really going to make up for the $6 million that he gave them that he didn't have to. I don't understand if it's Hassan or his representation, but it's his life, it's his bank account. Doesn't seem real smart in my mind. As for the game, the Jets could have used Hassan Reddick, but primarily to stop the run. It was a surprise that Christian McCaffrey was inactive for the game. Sounds like he might miss this upcoming week as well. But no McCaffrey for the Niners didn't matter. I mean, Jordan Mason came out, and the Niners still were able to run the ball right down the Jets' throats. There's almost nothing more demoralizing as an NFL player than when you know the other team's going to run or you think they're going to run and they still can run over and over again right at you. Kudos to Kyle Shanahan and the Niners coaching staff. Kudos to that offensive line, which, Trent Williams, the only Pro Bowler up there, but the tight ends and Juszczyk, they were able to get some block. And Jordan Mason, like any running back that's ever played for a Shanahan system ever, looked good. Really good. Speaking of looking good, by the way, I will say on the other side, I thought Aaron Rodgers looked pretty sharp. If I'm the Jets or a Jets fan, I'm encouraged by some of the throws that Rodgers made, some of the drives they had, the free play to Allen Lazard touchdown. Aaron Rodgers looked like the best Jets quarterback they've had in a long, long time. And while the defensive effort was probably disappointing, I think Jets fans are probably highly encouraged by finally having a quarterback like that. I'm highly encouraged that Smirnoff is one of the sponsors of the Ross Tucker Football Podcast because it is perfect vodka for crafting delicious cocktails, easy to make, and versatile for any and all fans over 21. There's a reason why it's the world's #1 vodka. And they know what they're doing, right? They're an official vodka partner of the NFL. Grab a bottle of Smirnoff at your local retailer and head to Smirnoff.com to find recipes of delicious cocktails perfect for game day. Please drink responsibly. Smirnoff #21 vodka, distilled from grain, 40% alcohol by volume. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York. Please do not share with anyone under legal drinking age.
It's time for the all-important Power Rankings. The worst team in the history of the NFL is...
All right, Ross, we'll kick off the power rankings. 32nd, the Carolina Panthers.
Well, they took over the top spot or the bottom spot, I guess, from the Patriots. Patriots actually won. Panthers looked horrendous. Won't be the last time we talk about the Panthers. And now it appears as if the best player on the football team, Derek Brown, might miss the entire season with meniscus surgery. I mean, going from bad to worse in Carolina.
31st is the Las Vegas Raiders.
They weren't that terrible. I guess there's teams I could probably have put below them, like maybe the Giants. But it's hard to know with week 1 power ranking. I know it's week 2, but with the week 1 power rankings, because how much of it was the Vikings are good and how much of it was the Giants are really bad. We know the Raiders did not look very good, particularly on offense, but then even defensively, they couldn't stop the run in the second half. Max Crosby was totally neutralized by the Chargers' tackles. Not a good start for the Raiders.
30th is the New York Giants.
Looked like a lot of the same that we saw last year from the Giants. Very ineffective offensively with the O-line, with the quarterback, and even them defensively with all those guys on the D-line. You would have thought the Giants D-line, or defense, I should say, would have looked better than they did against the Vikings, where it felt pretty easy for Sam Darnold to kind of tear them up.
29th, we've got the Denver Broncos.
They didn't move. They didn't move up. They didn't move down. Broncos are about where I thought they would be. I guess I would say I thought the defense would play a little bit better than that. The offense is right where we thought they'd be, right? Average at best weapons, rookie quarterback. I think Sean Payton will be able to manufacture some points with that group, but they're just not an overly talented group.
Our lowest ranked undefeated team, the New England Patriots, at 28.
Well, they started at 32. So they moved up 4 spots, which is good. And they deserve it. They found a way to get the win. But there was, it's not like they did very much offensively at all. But they don't need to, right? Like, that's going to be their formula. They're not going to light the world on fire offensively. They want to try to possess the football and, play an ugly game, right? Win ugly with the lack of offensive talent they have. Play D, play special teams, run the rock. That's their formula, and they got to win. You can't overstate how critical it was to get that fumble, really the turnovers that they got when the Bengals were in their territory.
27th is the Tennessee Titans.
Another team that didn't really move. They are, it feels like, about what I thought they would be. They did some positive things. They're up 17-0. I will say this, there's not going to be many games, you would think, where Will Levis makes that egregious of an error or they get a punt block for a touchdown. That is a very, very disappointing loss if you are a Titans fan, because that's a game, I don't think they're going to be in the mix for the playoffs at the end, but if they were, that would be the game that you would point to and say, "Oh man, they really, really could have had that one, but they didn't get it." And back to the drawing board.
One team that did move a lot, but in the wrong direction, the Washington Commanders at 26.
They dropped quite a bit. They were at 21. I am high on the Commanders coming into the year, but Jaden Daniels kind of looked like a rookie throwing the ball, I thought, for the most part. They all did. I mean, Bo Nix and Caleb Williams, they all looked like rookies, which makes a lot of sense because breaking news, they are rookies. They should look like rookies, right? So that's fine. The flip side is defensively, they allowed Baker Mayfield to absolutely carve them up. That's the part that I think has to be highly discouraging if you're a Commanders fan the Bucs have a good offense, but still, to just totally shred them like that is discouraging.
25th is the Indianapolis Colts.
They dropped a couple spots. I don't even know if they deserve that. They went against a good Texans team. Anthony Richardson did some positive things. I don't know. I moved a couple teams up ahead of them, I guess, that won games, but I don't really feel very differently about the Colts other than I would like to have seen their defense play better. I think that's why I dropped them. They let Joe Mixon run over them, and that's the part that probably is the most concerning if you're a Colts fan. You're playing at home, and they really couldn't stop the Texans, it felt like.
24th is the Seattle Seahawks.
What? They dropped a spot even though they won? That's not cool. Yeah, I don't know. I go by watching the games and who I think would win right now if these teams played against each other. Now, I will say this. Week 2, it's still a combination of what we saw week 1 and my preconceived notions coming into the year. I don't want to say it's maybe even 50-50, right? Next week, it's like 75% what they've done so far this year, 25% preconceived notions. And after that, it's just what they've done this year. After the third game, I'm just going by what you've done this year. But the Seahawks, they found a way to get a win against a rookie quarterback at home. It doesn't really change very much. Most of these teams, I would say, Jack, are about sort of what I thought they would be so far at this point. And you can experience that with your kids if you get them the coolest gift I've seen for a kid in a long, long time. It's actually not just a gift for your kid, it's a gift for you too. It's futurefans.com. They created a storybook-led activity box that helps kids as young as 4 understand football. Here's what it's about in life. Quality family time. There's nothing more valuable than quality family time. To me, you're getting twice as much quality family time for the price of one, right? These things only cost $49.99, and if you use the code Ross, you get 10% off. So you get the time going through the book and the activities, and then you get the time for the rest of their childhood with them sitting next to you on the couch or whatever, watching the games. This thing is genius. It's week 2. You could have your children sitting next to you or child watching every game the rest of the season by week 4. Use code Ross, unlock a lifetime of memories with a kid in your life starting now. And what I love about it is at that point, you'll just be able to sit there, talk with them, talk about the game, drink Labatt Blue Lights with your family, and live life to the power of we. Always enjoy responsibly. Delicious beer, Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York.
23rd is the Atlanta Falcons.
Very disappointing initial performance by the Falcons, especially offensively. I know the Steelers' defense is pretty good, but I had much higher hopes for the Falcons on offense than what they showed. Too many good skill players. The offensive line was disappointing. Not a good showing for those guys.
Team you mentioned earlier, the New York Jets at 22.
Already talked about them. Jets, Jets. I think the part that you're scratching your head about if you're a Jets fan is really the defense, which has been the calling card under Saleh.
21st is the Chicago Bears.
So there's another one. They won the game, and I dropped them 5 spots. Yeah, that's how it works sometimes. They were very fortunate to win the game. Will Levis had that bonehead play. They blocked the punt. I didn't think that the Bears looked all that great. I did not think Caleb Williams' performance was encouraging, but again, just one performance. So I dropped them, even though they won, because I go by what would happen if these two teams played in a neutral site game.
20th is the Los Angeles Chargers.
They also dropped a couple spots, even though they won. They were fine. I thought the Chargers were fine. I'm encouraged by the way the defense played and by the way they ran the ball in the fourth quarter. In the second half, but in the fourth quarter in particular with J.K. Dobbins, that is encouraging for the Chargers moving forward. San Diego Superchargers, San Diego Chargers.
19th is the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Dropped them a couple spots. They're about what we thought they would be, at least through one game. But this feels like this happens to the Jaguars a lot. No matter who the coach is, no matter what the era is, they just doink off games that they shouldn't. 17-7, going in for a touchdown. Incredible play by Javon Holland. And I know it's easier said than done, but you can't be letting Tyreek Hill get an 80-yard touchdown like that. At least make the Dolphins have to go the long way.
Team making a big leap, the Arizona Cardinals at 18th.
They moved up 8 spots because I think that they're going to have a really good season. I know they didn't get the job done against the Bills, but they didn't even get very much out of Trey McBride, their young star tight end. They got like nothing out of Marvin Harrison Jr., and they still almost won that game on the road against the Bills. Defensively, certainly they've got some things to work on. I think no B.J. Ojulari and no Darius Robinson really hurt them, but I would call that an encouraging performance from the Cardinals.
17th is the Minnesota Vikings.
The Minnesota Vikings. Very encouraging performance by the Vikings. Are you kidding me? I mean, everybody's been talking about how good Sam Darnold's going to play in Kevin O'Connell's offense. Well, so far, so good. We'll see if he can sustain it. But this must be so fun for a coach. If it's like a guy's failed all these other places, and then you get him, and you let him, and you get him to play really well, that's got to be like, you can look at all the coaches that couldn't get it out of them and be like, yeah, maybe you're just not good enough, coach. You're just not as good enough as me. And the defense for the Vikings look good too.
Halfway point to Pittsburgh Steelers at 16.
And why do I feel like the Steelers might stay right around 16 the entire season? Maybe get up to 13, maybe get down to 17. But maybe they'll end up being better than that. I don't know if they're good enough offensively to ever like crack the top 10.
15th, Cincinnati Bengals.
So this is the zone of some of the teams that I had ranked higher, but they didn't look great, so I dropped them. And it's always that question of exactly how much to drop them. I don't know. The Bengals, they were fine, I would say, for the most part on defense. And then offensively, some of those turnovers and missed opportunities down near the Patriots goal line, that could have changed the whole complexion of the game. I'm not going to get too worked up. Plus, for some reason, with Zach Taylor and Joe Burrow, the Bengals always stink early in the year.
One more AFC North team for good measure, the Browns at 14.
I don't know. I could have dropped them a lot more than this. I'm trying to give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. We'll see if Watson can play better, but obviously that was not real good from them at all. Really, both sides of the ball. I would say the defensive part of it was probably more discouraging.
13th is the New Orleans Saints.
And Jack, they're the winners this week. My biggest upgrade this week is the Saints. How many spots they move up, Jack?
They moved up 12 spots.
12
25th.
spots. So they are my West Shore upgrade team of the week. Upgrade your bathroom or entry door with West Shore Home. Get free installation for 48 months with 0% interest, plus an extra $500 off when you visit westshorehome.com/Ross. Love those of you that at least get the free estimate, right? At least get the free consultation. Very, very cool. That was super impressive from the Saints. I mean, you never know how much of it was bad Panthers, how much of it was good Saints, but Derek Carr looked awesome. Alvin Kamara looked better than he has in the last couple of years. The O-line looked way better than I thought they would. Tip of the cap to Clint Kubiak, the new OC there. And then defensively, they got after Bryce Young and made him look really bad, although he might just be really bad.
12th is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Well, the way Baker played, the way Mike Evans looked, offensive line looks improved, had to move the Bucs up quite a bit. They were probably close. They moved up 9 spots.
11th was the Los Angeles Rams.
I didn't move them up or down. If anything, I would have moved them up. But they're so beat up right now with Puka Nacua on IR, and it sounds like Steven Avila might go on IR. They're just so beat up that, remember, I judge these teams based on where they are right now, including who's available or not, if these teams played against each other. And no Puka Nacua and a beat-up O-line is a problem for the Rams.
10th is the Green Bay Packers.
Same thing. Jordan Love is out at least 2 or 3 weeks, it sounds like. And so Malik Willis is their quarterback. Quite frankly, he's only been there 2 weeks. I could have dropped the Packers even more than this for right now. They didn't play great against the Eagles, and now they're without Jordan Love. We'll see if they can win any games with Malik Willis as their quarterback.
9th is the Miami Dolphins.
Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins number 9. I will get a chance to see the Dolphins in person on Thursday. I did watch the body cam footage of Tyreek Hill. Maybe we can talk more about that tomorrow, Jack.
8th is the Dallas Cowboys.
They moved up 4 spots. Boy, they looked really good. You know, Mike Zimmer, Mike McCarthy, Dak. I give a lot of credit to those coaches because they had those guys ready to play. That was impressive.
7th is the Buffalo Bills.
Right, they didn't move up or down. Sounds like Josh Allen's okay. He'll play Thursday night. They looked fine. I think the defensive performance was a little discouraging, I would say, for the Bills. The Cardinals did, for the most part, what they wanted to with them.
6th, Houston Texans.
Big win. Big win on the road. You know, Anthony Richardson had to have a ridiculous throw for the game to be close. The Texans' offense looked sharp defensively, and they ran the ball well with Mixon. That was a good sign for them.
5th was the Baltimore Ravens.
Ravens actually moved up a spot because of some of the teams that dropped, even in that losing effort in Kansas City. Look, they were so close to that game going to overtime. Actually, John Harbaugh was going to go for 2, and obviously we'd feel even differently about their ranking if they had won it.
4th, Philadelphia Eagles.
The top 4 didn't move at all, Jack. It's Eagles 4, Lions 3, Niners 2, Chiefs 1. They all won. They all kind of looked pretty good. They all held serve. I mean, the Eagles in particular, I think you got to be super encouraged if you're an Eagles fan that they won that game, even with some of those horrendous turnovers. I mean, you just don't win games like that in the NFL with 3 horrible turnovers against a good team like the Packers typically.
Yeah,
As for the Lions, at number 3. What's that?
I thought you were just going 4 through 1, explaining them all. I thought you were taking the thunder from me there.
No, that's okay. I was gonna, but I sometimes I need a breather a little bit. That's okay. The Lions, you know, they got really close to losing that game, but I love their resilience. Super impressive overtime drive. You know how much I love when a team just runs it down their throat like that. And then for the Niners, man, I mean, if there was a game they were going to lose, it felt like it'd be last night, right? Without McCaffrey and with Ayuk and Trent Williams just getting there. Nope. They won it. And then the Chiefs is the Chiefs, as they say. They seemingly always find a way to win those games late. They have an uncanny ability to do that. Having Patrick Mahomes tends to help. Other than that, Even Money Betting Podcast today and a special guest, RFP, tomorrow. I think we're done here.
Thanks for tuning in to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. Make sure to also check out Even Money, Fantasy Feast, and College Draft, all on the DraftKings Network podcast on your favorite platform.
Shout out Pizza Boy Brewing. It was awesome. Absolutely awesome to see so many of you last night. Thank you so much for coming out to Pizza Boy Brewing. It's also so nice when you order a story from myfrontpagestory.com for a loved one. Absolutely love it. That's a guaranteed autograph. I guarantee to send you an autograph if you go to myfrontpagestory.com. Backofficeschedule.com, humanheadnyc.com, Sporticulture, and Pizza Boy Brewing.